Alright, fam. So, this is a new series that I'm starting. It's literally just reviews. But I'm gonna consider it a series because they're all gonna have Ramble review after them. That's right, this is my first Ramble review. Ha! I incorporated the rambling into the review. Wow, okay. So basically this is just gonna be a review, but since it's from me, it's gonna be very rambly. And yeah, so that's the concept, and I thought it would be fitting to do my first Ramble review on the first book that I finished of the year. Literally just finished this book today, and that is Call Down the Hawk. So, as we all know, I've been looking forward to this book for quite a long time. And let me tell you something. It did not disappoint. I don't feel like holding up the book the entire time, so I'm going to put it down now. But yeah, Call Down the Hawk did not disappoint, and I'm going to get into reasons why. So, let's talk about the characters. First of all, Ronan Lynch is amazing, and I love him dearly. I would probably die for him, just, like you do. I mean, I would also die for Adam Parrish, because he is also just quality content. Aside from those two characters, which I already loved from the Raven cycle, is new characters like Jordan Hennessy, who I don't know if I would die necessarily for her, but like I would get stabbed for her, for sure. Honestly, I don't value my life that much, so I probably would die for her. But anyway, fantastic character. I can't wait to see her, arc in the next book, because she had a really interesting one in this book, so I just can't wait to see that progress. And then the new character, Carmen something. Farquaad Lane? Is that maybe how you pronounce it? I don't know. Anyway, she was also really interesting. I really liked that, it says it in the description, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it, but her brother was a dreamer and he killed some people, so that was interesting. And yeah, so just in general, the characters were fucking fantastic. There's some other characters that I won't mention because they're not mentioned in the Dust Jacket, and they're new characters, so I'm not going to mention them because I want that to be a surprise for people. But they were also excellent. If you have read the book, the main new character, lit as fuck. Love them. But I'm not gonna say more than that because I don't want to spoil anything. This is a non-spoiler review. So let's move on to the plot. So the plot is not really explained very well on the cover, in the Dust Jacket, I mean. It basically just gives you descriptions of Ronan, Hennessy, and Carmen, whatever her last name is. It does mention that there are people who want to kill dreamers on the Dust Jacket. So I'm just gonna let you know that is essentially the plot of this book. I know it doesn't really specifically say that on the Dust Jacket, but I don't feel like that's a spoiler because it's what the book is about, and it's mentioned on the Dust Jacket, so it's not a huge spoiler. But yeah, that's essentially what the book is about. There are these people who want to kill dreamers, and it's about that whole thing, but it's also about Ronan's whole thing and Hennessy's whole thing, which I'm not gonna spoil that because it's not on the cover. So I'm not gonna spoil that, but it's lit as fuck. Especially Hennessy's thing. Like, I really enjoyed where the plot took her character and what happened, like, to her character, and it was just fantastic. Ronan's thing, too. Like, his thing was real cool, and I just really appreciated it, honestly. I always appreciate more Ronan content. And I especially, let me tell you something, guys. This is not really a spoiler because you knew it was going to be in the book if you've read The Raven Cycle. And if you haven't read The Raven Cycle, it's not a spoiler because it's not like a reveal in the book. But like the Ronan and Adam content in the book was so good. Was so good. As we can see, I really enjoy me some Pinch content. But yeah, all of it was just fantastic. So yeah, the plot in general was just a fantastic. And what else should I talk about? Like, I'm running out of things to ramble about. I know this sounds like it's not even a good review because I'm just like praising the books and I'm not talking about what I didn't like. But honestly, like, maybe it's just the book high, but I can't think of anything that I didn't like about this book. Because, like, the things that I didn't like at first came back later and, like, were a thing that, like, was interesting. So, like, I can't think of anything bad to say about this book. Because I liked it a lot. I put it on my favorite shelf on Goodreads. And I also gave it 5 stars. But that's not saying anything because I give a lot of books 5 stars. Which is why I wanted to do a more like specific review thing. Because, yeah, reviews are a thing that I didn't do at all last year. Maybe I did like 1 last year. But yeah, so I want to try and do more reviews. But they're going to be really shitty reviews. Like this one. Because unless I read something that I really don't like / have issues with, they're not going to be interesting. They're just going to be me being like, yes, the characters are great. Yes, the plot is great. I love everything. And I feel like people don't really care about that. People like want to see rant reviews. But anyway, I am not here to bring you a rant review. I'm here to tell you to go read Call Down the Hawk, even if you haven't read The Raven Cycle, because I think this book is a lot more accessible than The Raven Cycle. The Raven Cycle, the plot is kind of all over the place, and everything doesn't come together until the last book, so it's like, you gotta read a lot of stuff before stuff starts making sense. So, like, this book, though, like, if you don't know anything about the world and you're just like, oh, cool, there are, like, dreamers and stuff, that's neat. Like, it's nice because you don't, like, have to know all of the Raven Cycle-y things because, like, it's all explained in Call Down the Hawk. Like, I mean, it's cool if you have read the Raven Cycle, there are, like, Easter eggs and stuff, but, like, you don't have to have read the Raven Cycle. And like I said, I think it's a little more accessible because it's like the plot is a little more like grounded, I guess you would say, even though it's not grounded at all because it's about like dreamers and shit. But yeah, it's like, and it's not like boring. Some people criticize the Raven Cycle and say it's boring. And I don't think this book is boring in ways that the Raven Cycle could be perceived as boring. If you've read The Raven Boys and you didn't like it, but you didn't like it because you thought it was boring, not because you didn't like the writing style, then try Call Down the Hawk. If you didn't like it because of the writing style, you probably won't like Call Down the Hawk because it's just Maggie Stiefvater's writing style, and, you know, if you didn't like it, I'm sorry. But if you didn't like it because you thought it was boring, I would maybe try Call Down the Hawk and see if you like it better. And if you do, fantastic. There are 2 more books coming out in the Dreamer trilogy. So if you haven't read the Raven Cycle and you don't plan on reading the Raven Cycle, but you're like interested in maybe like the Dreamer aspect, which is like the most interesting part about the Raven Cycle, let's be honest, try Call Down the Hawk. So yeah. Basically, try this book unless you didn't like the writing style in the Raven Boys, because it's very similar. If you do want to read the Raven Cycle, I would recommend reading the Raven Cycle and then reading Call Down the Hawk. Like, even though you don't need to know anything, if you've read the Raven Cycle, you'll get more of the references and stuff, and it's just really cool. So if you plan on reading the Raven Cycle, I would read that first and then read Call Down the Hawk. But if you don't plan on reading the Raven Cycle, I would still suggest maybe checking out Call Down the Hawk, because it's different. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Those are my opinions, and that is what I think you should do concerning Call Down the Hawk. So I can't think of anything else to say. So honestly, I just hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.